Welcome back to the United News, your ultimate destination for everything Manchester United. I'm your host, and today we're diving deep into the most crucial transfer developments that could completely transform our club's future. Red Devils, buckle up because what I'm about to share with you will change how you see this summer window. We're talking about potential game-changing signings, tactical revolutions under Ruben Amorim, and transfer opportunities that could define our next decade. First up, we have exclusive insights into the Douglas Luiz situation, a potential bargain that could solve our midfield puzzle for just £30 million. While top journalists like Fabrizio Romano continue to monitor this developing story, sources close to Juventus suggest they're desperate to sell, creating a golden opportunity for United. But that's not all. Bruno Fernandes just dropped a massive hint about Joshua Zirkzee's transformation under Amorim's system, and the implications are huge. Our captain's public backing of the Dutch forward signals something special is brewing at Carrington. Then there's the Bryan Mbeumo saga, United's relentless pursuit of the Brentford star who scored 20 goals last season. With reliable sources indicating the player's desire to join us, this could be the final piece of Amorim's attacking puzzle. And let's not forget about Matheus Cunha's integration into our system. The Brazilian's arrival for £62.5 million isn't just about goals. It's about revolutionizing how we play football under our Portuguese mastermind. Today's episode will cover why Amorim's 3-4-2-1 system demands specific players, how the potential departures of 5 squad members could fund our remaining targets, and why this summer represents our biggest tactical shift in years. We'll analyze the numbers that prove our scoring crisis, just 44 Premier League goals last season, and explain exactly how these potential signings could double that tally. Plus, exclusive details on United's transfer budget constraints and why every signing must be perfect. Whether you're a tactical enthusiast who loves formation breakdowns, a transfer fanatic hungry for the latest updates, or simply a United supporter who wants to understand where we're heading, this episode has something for everyone. So hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and let's dive into the most important transfer window in recent United history. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll understand why this summer could be the turning point we've all been waiting for. The future of Manchester United starts now, and you won't want to miss a single detail. Let's get started. Manchester United transfer update. Douglas Luiz bargain deal could transform our midfield. Hey United family! Are you ready for some exciting transfer news that could completely change how we see our midfield this summer? Right now, there's a golden opportunity sitting right in front of us, and it involves a player who knows the Premier League inside out. We're talking about Douglas Luiz, the Brazilian midfielder who's currently at Juventus but might be heading back to England very soon. And guess what? We could get him for almost half the price Juventus paid for him just 1 year ago. But here's the big question that's on everyone's mind. Is this the missing piece that Ruben Amorim needs to take our midfield to the next level? Let's dive into all the details and see what this could mean for our beloved club. The current situation. What's happening right now? So here's where we stand today. Juventus is basically having a massive clear-out, and they need to sell players fast. But because they're running out of time before the transfer window closes in Italy, and they need to raise funds quickly. The new manager at Juventus, Igor Tudor, is planning to rebuild the team from scratch. He's already brought in Jonathan David from Lille on a free transfer, and now he's looking to move on players who don't fit his plans. Douglas Luiz is one of those players. Think about it, just 12 months ago, Juventus paid around £42 million to get Luiz from Aston Villa. Now they're willing to let him go for just £30 million. That's a massive drop in price, and it's all because things didn't work out as planned for the Brazilian in Italy. But here's the thing, just because it didn't work out at Juventus doesn't mean Luiz is a bad player. Sometimes it's just about finding the right fit, and the Premier League might be exactly where he belongs. Why this could be perfect for Manchester United? Let's be honest about our midfield situation. We've been looking for that perfect balance for years now. We have some good players, but we're still missing that creative spark, that player who can control the game from the middle of the park. Douglas Luiz could be exactly what we need. He's 26 years old, so he's entering his prime years. He's already proven he can perform at the highest level in the Premier League. Remember his time at Aston Villa? He was one of their best players and helped them qualify for the Champions League. The Brazilian brings something different to the table. He's not just a defensive midfielder who breaks up play. He's not just an attacking midfielder who only thinks about going forward. He's a complete player who can do both jobs really well. And here's what makes this deal even more attractive: the price. At £30 million, this could be one of the best bargains in the transfer market. When you compare it to what other clubs are paying for similar players, it's almost like getting a 20% discount on a quality player. The Jadon Sancho connection: how two deals could work together. Now here's where it gets really interesting. This Douglas Luiz situation is actually connected to another big story: Jadon Sancho's potential move to Juventus. We all know Sancho's story with United. He arrived with high expectations, but things haven't worked out as planned. Both the player and the club might benefit from a fresh start, and Juventus seems interested in giving him that opportunity. The Italian club has been in talks with us about Sancho, and they're willing to pay between £20 to £25 million for him. But here's where it gets interesting. During these negotiations, Juventus actually offered us the chance to take Douglas Luiz as part of the deal. Think about it: we could potentially sell Sancho for around £25 million and then use that money to bring in Luiz for £30 million. We'd only need to add £5 million to get a player who could transform our midfield. It's like getting a significant upgrade for the price of a cup of coffee. Well, maybe a very expensive cup of coffee, but you know what I mean. What the numbers tell us. Why Luiz could be perfect. Let's talk about what Douglas Luiz actually brings to the table. Numbers don't lie, and when you compare his stats from his last season at Aston Villa to what we currently have, the difference is pretty clear. In his final season at Villa, Luiz completed over 1,200 more passes than Manuel Ugarte, who's been our main midfield signing recently. That's not just a small difference, that's a massive gap that shows how much more involved Luiz is in the build-up play. But it's not just about passing. Luiz provided more assists, completed more key passes, and was much more dangerous going forward. This is exactly what we've been missing in our midfield: someone who can create chances for our attackers. Here's what makes Luiz special: he's not just good at one thing. He can defend when needed, he can control the tempo of the game, and he can create chances for his teammates. In today's football, having a player who can do all three things is incredibly valuable. And let's not forget about his experience. He's played in the Premier League for years, so he knows the pace and style of English football. He won't need time to adapt like some foreign players do. The competition: who else wants him? Of course, we're not the only club interested in Douglas Luiz. Reports suggest that Newcastle, Fulham, and Everton are also keeping an eye on the situation. But here's the thing: we're Manchester United. We can offer things that other clubs can't. We can offer Champions League football, we can offer a chance to win trophies, and we can offer a platform to become one of the best players in the world. Newcastle has money, but they're still building their project. Fulham is a good club, but they're not competing for the biggest prizes. Everton is fighting to stay in the Premier League. None of these clubs can offer what we can offer. If Luiz is smart, and from what we've seen he'll choose the club that gives him the best chance to achieve his dreams. And that club is Manchester United. What Ruben Amorim really needs. Let's think about what Ruben Amorim is trying to build here. He wants to play attacking football, but he also wants to be solid defensively. He wants to control games, but he also wants to create chances. For this to work, he needs midfielders who can do multiple jobs. He needs players who are comfortable with the ball at their feet, who can make quick decisions, and who can adapt to different situations during the game. Douglas Luiz fits this profile perfectly. He's the type of player who can make everyone around him better. He can help our defenders by dropping deep to collect the ball. He can help our attackers by finding them with clever passes. And he can help our team by maintaining possession when we're under pressure. This is exactly what we've been missing. We've had players who are good at one thing, but we need players who are good at everything. Luiz could be that player. The risk and reward: what could go wrong? Let's be honest about the risks involved. Douglas Luiz had a difficult first season at Juventus. Some people might worry that he's not as good as we think he is, or that he might struggle to adapt to our style of play. But here's the thing: every transfer involves some risk. Even the most expensive signings sometimes don't work out. The key is to make sure the potential reward is worth the risk. In this case, the reward is huge. We could get a player who transforms our midfield for a very reasonable price. The risk is that he might not adapt immediately, but given his Premier League experience, this risk is quite low. And let's not forget, at £30 million, this isn't a massive financial commitment. If things don't work out, we could probably sell him for a similar price to another club. What this means for our current players. If we sign Douglas Luiz, what happens to our current midfield players? This is a question that many fans are asking, and it's a fair one. The truth is, competition for places is good for the team. If Luiz comes in and performs well, it will push our other midfielders to raise their game. If he struggles, then our current players will get their chance to prove themselves. Players like Casemiro, Eriksen, and Ugarte all have different strengths. Luiz would add another dimension to our midfield options, giving Amorim more ways to set up the team depending on the opposition. This is how top clubs operate. They have quality players in every position, and they use different combinations for different games. If we want to compete with the best teams in the world, we need this kind of depth. The timeline: when could this happen? The transfer window is still open, but time is running out. Juventus needs to sell players quickly, which means they might be even more willing to negotiate on price. For us, this creates an opportunity. We could potentially get a really good deal if we act fast. But we also need to be careful not to rush into anything without proper consideration. The good news is that our new management team has been working hard to identify the right players for our system. If they believe Luiz is the right fit, then they'll probably try to make it happen soon. What this could mean for next season? Imagine starting next season with a midfield that includes Douglas Luiz. Suddenly, we have a player who can control games, create chances, and provide that link between defense and attack that we've been missing. This could be the signing that makes the difference between finishing in the top 4 and challenging for the title. It could be the move that helps us compete better in the Champions League. It could be the addition that makes our whole team play better. Of course, one player doesn't solve everything. We still need other pieces to fall into place. But sometimes, one good signing can trigger a chain reaction that improves the whole team. The bottom line: why this makes sense. As we look at this situation, everything points to this being a smart move for Manchester United. We get a quality player at a good price, we solve a problem in our midfield, and we potentially help with the Jadon Sancho situation at the same time. Douglas Luiz is exactly the type of player that modern football requires. He's versatile, he's experienced, and he's entering his prime years. At £30 million, he represents excellent value in today's market. The question isn't whether we should try to sign him. The question is whether we can get the deal done before other clubs make their move. What happens next? So where do we go from here? Well, it's all about the negotiations now. Our management team will be working hard to put together a package that works for everyone involved. From our perspective, we need to act quickly but smartly. We need to make sure we're getting the right player for the right price. We need to make sure he fits into our plans both now and in the future. The next few weeks could be crucial for this deal. If we can get it done, it could be one of the best pieces of business we've done in years. If we miss out, we might end up regretting it for a long time. Final thoughts. A message to the United family. As we wrap up this deep dive into the Douglas Luiz situation, I want to leave you with this thought. This is exactly the type of opportunity that can define a transfer window. We have a chance to bring in a quality player at a great price. We have a chance to solve a problem that's been holding us back. We have a chance to show that we're serious about building a team that can compete with the best. But here's the thing, it's not just about signing players. It's about building a team, creating a culture, and moving forward together. Douglas Luiz could be part of that story, but he's not the whole story. As fans, we need to support our team whether this deal happens or not. We need to trust that our management is working hard to make the right decisions. And we need to remember that success in football comes from many different factors, not just one signing.